just before COVID hit, the city of Durham, where the majority of our deals were or are currently, was hacked by the Russians. Their system.
That's crazy. That's
so their system.
You know what?
All the information that you guys gave, and I spent 2 solid weeks, and I just put my head down and I wanted to know every square inch of it, right? And I just wanted to understand the systems from front to back. I think that's what some of the biggest problems with people are. They get into mentorship, you're given all the information, but they're listening, letting it kind of pass through. They're not implementing, they're not putting it forward, right? And so I dissected every single piece and just went to work and started implementing it. And like exactly like I said is how it played out. I need 6 months.
Yeah.
Give me the information. I need 6 months to implement and put it into play, and that's what's happened. And we tripped and fell a couple times in the beginning. Trying to find the right people.
Yep.
And once you get that one solid person in place and they buy in, that's when it just started to expand. And now we've got 3 acquisitions people, dispositions, transactions. We've got staff accountant. We've got admin. We've got whole team, and everything just kind of cranks to the point where I don't even have to be there.
Yeah.
Right. I don't spend much time at all in my business. Matter of fact, I just spent 5 months in Mexico.
That's what I was going to ask you, right? So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about some of your biggest wins, some of your biggest victories in 2020, and we'll get into. You're the only person that I know that is a real estate investor that lived in another country for half the year, almost half the year. You know what I mean? So let's talk about your biggest challenges first in 2020, and then we'll talk about some of those victories. So give me if any challenges at all.
No, we had in our development company.
Okay.
It was bad. So just before COVID hit, the city of Durham, where the majority of our deals were or are currently, was hacked by the Russians. Their system.
That's crazy. That's
so their system.
You know what? I might do the thumbnail, right? Hacked by Russians. Successful real estate investor hacked by Russians. That would actually be right. That would be an attention grabber.
So we had a handful of properties that were literally at final inspections. We were just trying to get water and sewer in, finish it up, done at that point. And literally they're on the market and they're sold, right? 9 months later, we would finally get water, sewer, be able to sell them. So we had, by the time we did that and then we're able to list the property and sell it, add another almost a year of holding costs.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
It kills the deals.
Nobody wants that.
We went negative on so many deals because we had to just sit there, right?
Now, specifically, how did you get, this is unbelievable. How did you get hacked by the Russians?
No, not me. The city of Durham, their system. So they get hacked by the Russians. Like 2-3 weeks later, COVID comes. They just took over their system.
To do what?
And they held it for ransom. And they were like, screw that. I'm not going to pay you.
They wanted to sell it back to Durham. Like, hey, we'll give it back to you if you pay us this much.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know, $1 million or whatever. I'll give you the system back. And they said, screw that. We'll just build a whole nother system.
And they did.
They did.
9 months.
So they spent all this time, right? And then COVID. So everything slowed down, right? So we had that happen. We had properties that we just turned in permits that we literally just got back at the end of last year, December, just getting them pulled out of the ground now. We had an architecture firm that messed up a bunch of our plans that have problems with those people. I don't want to get into that too much, but I mean, it was literally like the year of hell for our development company.
2020.
Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Wow.
But you know what? We overcame it. We have it's a setback. It's a setback. It's a learning experience, and we just get through it.
Okay. Biggest wins, biggest victories for you and your company in 2020.
So biggest wins were we built an amazing freaking team. Okay, and a team that I can trust, I can lean on, a team that is motivated. They push themselves. Like we don't have to, push them along, right? So they feed off each other, and what allowed me to leave Raleigh, pick up my family, re-homeschool our kids and a dog, and move.
What's the dog's name?
Shelby.
Shelby. It's
a bulldog, English bulldog.
English bulldog, a male?
No, it's a female.
Female, okay.
Yep, female.
Okay.
Yeah,
Heard great things about those dogs, by the way.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She just makes a lot of noise. Like she snores. Like she'll be just sitting there looking at you.
But it's kind of cute. It's funny, right?
And annoying at the same time. Because Christy brings her into the office, and I'm like, "Will you shut that dog up?" Like I'm 2 offices over, and that's all I hear is this dog snoring. It's terrible.
Get her. What do you call those?
The strips.
The sleeping machine. No. Get her,
sleep apnea.
Yeah. What is that machine called?
I don't know.
Man? Well, get her one of those sleeping machines.
Yeah.
Put a little mask on her at night. She'll stop snoring.
I need to do something.
Yeah.
Just stop bringing her to the office. But yeah, we go to Cabo, and we rented this house. Like we got it for pennies on a dollar for because of COVID.
What were
It
you
was just
paying
sitting
for that
there.
house? Because I saw that house and it looked kind of extravagant.
So Airbnb had it for $2,000 a day.
Jeez.
So $60,000, right? $2,000 a day. So the first offer they came to me with was $30,000. I'm like,
a month.
Not no, but F no, right?
$30K a month.
Yeah. So then they were like, oh, I talked to her. She's willing to do $20,000. I was like, look, the house been sitting. It's not going anywhere. Nothing's going to happen. You want to produce some income out of it, or do you want it to just sit there, right? And I was like, no, it's good. I was like, so we went with another realtor, and we were looking at some other houses, and then they call us up, hey, they're willing to go to $10,000. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. It was a huge house, and we rented it with some other friends. So like we offset it. We brought people came in all the time. So it was like
incredible.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Cliff,
honestly, like it ended
ocean,
up. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it was amazing. The views were unbelievable. The last month we were there, the whales came in. They migrate down in there November through like March, April.
Yeah.
And so we're just sitting there and looking out from the bedroom, and humpback whales breaching out of the water. It was like the coolest
crazy.
thing. Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like some
it was pretty incredible.
Animal Channel or Discovery Channel.
Right.
Okay. Well, you know what?
But yeah, I mean, being able to do that was
the
experience was just to be able to pick up the family, go. I needed something normal, right? Everything was shut down in the U.S., and I'm like, I don't even care if everything's shut down there. I just need a different view other than looking at my 4 walls, right?
Yeah.
In Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm like, we need to do something. So let's figure out how to get out, and we worked, throughout the day. Real grind, real work. But my team was like breaking records. They were like, I mean, everything just kept going.
So let me ask you this: clearly, I don't know if you guys heard that. This guy, they built and scaled their operation, their personnel, their systems, and their marketing to the point where he can actually live in another country for almost half the year. So with that being said, let me ask you this: when would you have to be involved? Like, would you involve virtually, like Monday morning meetings on Wednesdays, like midweek huddles? Like, when were you involved? Because you weren't physically there anymore.
So yeah, at first, it was trying to figure out the system, what we needed to do. I was there at any point in time that I needed, or they needed me, right? It was like, got questions, I hop on. But then it got to the point where I was like, I put, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So I'm in Cabo. So sometimes when I would text people, they wouldn't get it. So we went over to WhatsApp or created a group WhatsApp, and I would just constantly motivating them, pushing things, sending them messages. I would get on the Monday morning meetings, the Zoom calls, and I would train them from Zoom, and just help them along and just help empower them and train them and help them be better and be there for them.
Man, how grateful are you for that experience?
It was unbelievable.
Never done that in your life, right?
Not. So we've traveled. The most I went was 3 years or 3 years. 3 months. I went 3 months. That was 2018. It was 2018. We just the summer, like the kids were out of school.
Yeah.
This is just before we started homeschooling them.
Yeah.
Kids would get out of school, and we would go for the summer, right? Just go to different places, and we'd work at
like
different,
travel around.
Yeah, it just we're working. We worked throughout the day most
but not
days.
actually not live somewhere for.
No, we were traveling all over. We'd be someplace maybe a couple of days, a week, a couple of weeks max.
And move on.
Yeah, move on.
Okay. where are you guys right now? Like, what do you think is working? Like, what's the biggest thing that's working for you guys in North Carolina? Are you guys still just doing, fix and flips, wholesaling in your own backyard, or have you guys virtually expanded into other markets? What's going on?
Yeah, so fix and flip and build is in our backyard in the Raleigh-Durham area. Wholesaling, we covered the entire state of North Carolina completely. You guys taught us the virtual model. We've got that whole thing completely systematized. So we're in all of North Carolina. We're in most of Tennessee. We're actively marketing in. We partnered up with a Facebook guy, and I'm like, at first I was like, he came to me, he's like, oh, you want to do Facebook ads? I'm like, no, because I've tried it so many times, it's never worked, right? So he was like, we worked out a deal. We're like, he's like, if I get you leads and you close on them, we'll do a split on the back end, and you don't have to pay anything up front. He goes, would you be interested in that?
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, right. So we're actually on the way over here, I was talking to my dispo manager, and she's like, I've got a guy in Washington State out by Seattle. He's going to look at this property. We have it listed for $455, and he said to her, I'm going to go look at it. I want to give a thumbs up. He goes, if I give you 500, will you just push out all the competition? Let me just take it. She's like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
So an additional 45 grand. That came from Facebook. And we've had some other randoms throughout the country.
Yeah.
And our SEO is starting to give us pop-up things all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been working on SEO now for about a year.
So would you say, all right, what marketing channels do you have going on right now? Total, like every marketing channel.
Yeah. So we have cold calling, PPC, SEO, text blast.
Okay.
But text, we outsource it. I don't do it internally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like
time
Call Geeks with
super
with
time
cold
consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got Facebook, you got PPC, you got SEO.
I forgot about Facebook.
Right? Yep. Facebook, PPC, SEO, cold calling.
Yep.
And text blast.
All right. Occasionally we do direct mail.
Out of those 5, like, what do you think your top 3 are right now?
Number 1, PPC.
PPC.
So I was actually just running some numbers before
I flew out here.
We're doing it in the Raleigh area, which Triangle, the Charlotte
Raleigh,
area,
Durham.
Yeah, Raleigh, Durham, like Chapel Hill, like that whole big wide area.
Yeah.
We're doing it in Charlotte, and then I can't remember. I think we stopped doing it in Tennessee for whatever reason. But anyways, we've got it in a couple different markets in North Carolina. But so we were looking at the average deal closed in 2020.
Yeah.
Right. So for PPC, it was 27,000.
Wow.
But for cold calling, it was 17,000. But we average out overall with everything right at about 20.
Okay.
About 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
good.
so I would say PPC, cold calling, and then Facebook.
Okay.
Has been number 3.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Facebook and text is about the same.
What do you think the biggest challenge is when someone gets to a level, to the type of level like this, where you have a full-blown operation, right? Like what you guys have back home. What is the biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge? Like, is it the marketing? Is it the systems? Is it the personnel? Like, what do you see as like the number one challenge when you scale a business?
It's systems, right? I mean, having the right systems in place. Once you get the systems down and you've got the tools that go with it, and then you have everything else, right? You know how to scale, you know how to put people in place, you know how to train those people. Like once you have those systems down, you can scale it into any market, right? So it's like, okay, where do we want to go next?
Yeah.
Right. And we were starting to like spread out even more, but I honed it back in some to really get more efficient and concentrated on those areas. But honestly, I believe the systems.
Okay.
The systems. I mean, the marketing, you can just rinse and repeat. As long as you figured it out in one area, I think that you could just continuously, there's different things that you're going to do in different markets, but you can do that research and figure out what's best and just plug it in.